Hi, everyone. Kathy Beltran with Sacred Dance with Trance. I'm super excited to once again have Aiden Hall, a spiritual and trance medium from the UK, with us here again today. So this is our second interview. Everybody, Aiden Hall.
Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Kathy. It's really nice to speak to you again.
Looking forward to it. Oh, I'm so glad, because I know when I first interviewed you, I just started doing the interviews, and I feel like I might have gotten just a bit better with my questions now. But the first interview we did, and I've already reshared it in the groups, but please check Aiden's first interview out, because he talks a lot about his development and giving advice to others on their journey developing trance. So please check that out, because it is awesome. This time we wanted to talk a little bit something different with Aiden, because he's being guided. And the beautiful thing with Aiden is that he's actually listening to his team. He's listening to the guidance that he receives, his own intuition, and he's following through. And it's such an important thing. So a lot of things we're going to talk about in this interview will be things that I think are very important with mediumship alone, balancing all these things. So I want to start out with the first thing with Aiden is asking you. And first, let me excuse myself here. I'm getting over a cold, so if I start coughing, I absolutely apologize. I'm at the tail end of it. So Aiden.
Yes.
Since we last talked, what has come about? What's new with you? What has transpired since we last talked?
My direction has completely changed now, even to the extent that I've cancelled all my platform mediumship for next year. I've started cancelling even the remaining of my platform work this year, something that I feared of doing at first, because I kept thinking, well, what am I going to do? But it's just been a roller coaster, because things have just been roller coasting since I've actually been listening to my spirit team. And the direction now they're taking me on is this journey of trance on physical, but also, which I think is important, is knowledge. Because what I'm finding is, after all these 12 years of collecting thousands of books and other artifacts and other stuff, I realised they wanted me to do that so I could actually at least get some information that I could pass on to other people, but to strengthen my own ability around what the spirit world is about, and to try and at least pass that knowledge on to others. There's some real fantastic knowledge out there from the past, and it's been forgotten. And I feel that my journey, more than actually doing mediumship at the moment, is more about actually passing on this knowledge and guiding people to this knowledge, and to give them some understanding about the many different facets of mediumship, but also to expand people's own awareness on how to actually do research and how to do more study, not just to keep it to mediumship and spiritualism. Broaden it, look at the different aspects of science, look at music, look at the arts, because all these, as Spirit have said to me, are the foods of the minds. This is what helps the mind to expand. And it's by expanding that consciousness that we're able to actually hold more within the soul as well. And that is what we need when we pass to the spirit world, knowledge.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Hold on. I really think, Aiden, that everything that you just talked about is so important. When you felt like you had to step away from things and just look at everything that you said is so important. All the things that you're feeling like that's important to share, important to talk about. When we first had our interview, there was right after our interview, I believe I interviewed Roy Allen.
Yes.
And that interview was fabulous for me, because I was very emotional in it, because I had interviewed so many people already, and he mentioned you, I believe, in the interview, and everything just was so connected. It was amazing to me. Could you share a little bit about that? Because he mentioned being connected with you.
Yes. It was just surprising, because we'd only ever spoken a few times on Facebook. And he contacted me on one occasion, said he was coming over to England, asked whereabouts I live, and he said, I'm passing here Manchester way, live in Bolton, just on the outskirts. He said, I'll book into a hotel, and if you'd like, I'll come and join your circle. So I said, yeah, you're more than welcome. So we met up, and he then contacted me to say that Estelle had said that she wants to give me a spiritual assessment on where I'm up to, where I'm going, my own feelings and thoughts on things, and hopefully to give me the direction that I've been asking. And what's really unusual, for about 6 months before this, I've been asking direction from Spirit. I kept saying, look, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's happening. I can't even understand what's going on around me at the moment. So can you please at least give me some direction in one way or another? And then next minute, blow me, Roy contacts me and he joins a circle. And it was so lovely. He's a lovely soul, and his heart and his soul is into this movement so much. And you can see the how sincere he is when he's working.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean? And that comes over, and his wife is absolutely beautiful as well. We had a lovely time. We had some photographs taken together, all of us, and he said he'd like to come again when he comes over to England. And then only the other week I got a message, and they asked me if I'd like to do a joint trance demonstration with him.
Wow.
Which blew my mind, because when you consider he's been doing it like, 50 odd years at least.
Yes.
That to me is an honour. I mean, a real honour to be able to do that with somebody who is so sincere, who's been doing it so long. And I had to say thanks to my Spirit team, because I know that they've helped to actually do this as well. And I think we tend to forget to show our appreciation at times to the spirit world. I know some people think I'm stupid, but every so often what I do is buy a bunch of flowers and put them in the room upstairs where we do the work.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is
beautiful. Well, they love flowers. Spirit love flowers. It's the same as when I say to people, don't go to the cemetery. Spirit aren't in the cemetery. Put a photograph out and put some flowers next to it. That's remembering them. That's what they want. You won't find them in the cemetery. They won't even listen to you in the cemetery. Be at home. Flowers out next to a picture. That's what's important. So to me, I feel that that's me showing my appreciation, but also showing my love to them, but showing how special their friendship is to me as well. And flowers, I think, mean so much. So every so often, I always say, and especially when I've done something wrong with the spirit world, I always try to creep and say, here's some flowers. I'm sorry for what happened.
Oh my God.
It's lovely. It's just showing you that appreciation. But Roy is fantastic. And to be asked to do this with him is just an honour to me. It's a privilege to be able to do that. I'm looking for
Roy. I love his energy. I love talking with him. I felt so honored to speak with him. It's just beautiful.
He never judges you.
No.
Never. And unfortunately, you don't see that much in this movement today, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
So it's nice to find a real, true, guided soul like that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. When, before we started recording, we were talking about how, I had sat for Isabel Duchenne, and it was amazing experience when her guide came through. And, I was telling you how that, I didn't really, I knew I was like you. I was asking, my team, I was asking God, I was what do I do? What do I, and when I had that sitting with Isabel, anything and everything I was thinking, and I just didn't really, voice it, they answered. And I was just like, the entire time. Yes. I just knew everything. I needed to hear everything they said. And I absolutely, it was like validation. Like I knew, it was just amazing for me though. And I know that you sat, I think was it Estelle Roberts?
Yes.
With Roy for you. Yes. And I think you had the same experience. You knew, you felt validated.
Yes, I did. And it was emotional as well. So I knew once the essence of spirit touches you,
Mhm.
You know that's right.
Yes.
There's no arguing with that at all.
No, and I love how you said that. It's totally true. So you're actually stepping away from, you said rostrum, you're stepping away from that. And we're friends on Facebook, so I know, a lot of what you post and where you're guiding or being guided to. Philosophy. Let's talk about philosophy. Is that important now? Is that more important now for you to bring that forward?
It's more important, and I feel that it's been lost.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, philosophy is the word of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I do personally think that some organisations within the movement don't help, because certain organisations say you have to do philosophy, for example, around the 7 principles. But to me, that constricts it, because philosophy covers all parts of life. Mm-hmm. You cannot put any rules or regulations on what philosophy is. Philosophy is fluid. It's forever. It never ends. And I think what we need to do is to help to expand that philosophy and look at all areas of life, look at our lives, look how it's affected our lives, and share that and try and put it into some context where it's in a spiritual way, because philosophy is the word of spirit. And what Spirit said to me many times is, unlike a message which only touches one, with philosophy, it's like an umbrella effect. It covers many. And we never know what someone is going through in their lives. Mm-hmm. And that one word or that sentence that is being given from the spirit world with philosophy can actually help somebody so much. Oh, yeah. I had an incident not long ago, and I'd done a service, and this woman come up to me and said, "Aidan, can I have a word with you?" So I said, "Yeah, of course." And she said, "Can I say thank you for tonight?" So I thought, well, I'm not giving you a message. So I said to her, "Well, I'm not giving you a message." She said, "Oh, no, I wasn't interested in that." She said, "The philosophy that you gave tonight, you don't realise how much it's meant." So I said, "Well, as long as you've been able to take something away from it, that's important." And then she opened up to me. She said that she'd lost a partner 12 months ago. She has a family around her, but she was still finding life difficult because they were inseparable when they were together. She had made a mind up that night that she had written a will out. She had actually sorted out with tablets. She was coming to the church to make a peace with the spirit world. She was going back home, and she was going to end her life. Oh, gosh. And apparently she said, that one word and that sentence that you gave me, she says, I'm not going to say where it is, but it meant so much. She said, it's given me an understanding about life. And it's given me an understanding that I have to carry on with what I'm doing with my life. And that my partner would not want me to actually end my life. And she said, you've also spoken about the family in that and how important the family is. And she said, I've realised, what would they do without me? What would they truly do without me? And to me, even if I did nothing else within my mediumship, as long as I've done that, to me, I've done something spirit wanted to do. I've saved a soul. I've saved somebody from going over before they should do. And to me, that's a reward, not the material aspect of it. To me, when somebody can say that to you and show their true feelings, and you can actually feel that as well, because it had me in tears near enough. Oh, yeah. It means more than anything. And to me, I feel that that's a reward. That is a reward in itself. Money can't buy that. And I just think that philosophy needs to be given more and more, because it used to be in the old times. With the old pioneers, philosophy was the main crux of any service, of any form of mediumship. But now it's not being taught even. You know, you don't see many workshops. I think I'm one of the very few what's been doing philosophy workshops, because people seem to think it's all about messages now with the spirit world, and it's not. And I think to some degree, a lot of the media have done the damage here, because people only see one aspect of mediumship, the messages. Yeah. So people think, I want a message. And the problem is, when the want overcomes the need, that is where the danger comes in, because Spirit have said often to me that we have to live our own lives. We have to journey ourselves on that pathway. We cannot expect the spirit world to keep telling us what we should be doing. we have to find that for ourselves. That's our spiritual journey of learning. And I think philosophy gives that. Philosophy gives so much knowledge, and that knowledge provides wisdom. Wisdom provides a greater understanding. So it all goes together, it all links together, and it helps people so much. It gives so much understanding to life itself and to things what are going on around with each person as well. So yeah, philosophy, I think, needs to be brought in. And personally, I don't think any medium should be on the rostrum if they're not willing to do philosophy, or they say they can't do it, because it is the groundwork. And I always say that if you want a good service, then do good philosophy, because that gives you the foundation of then giving a good service at a church. So yeah, and I don't think it should be given just on a divine service. I used to give it onto a normal demonstration of mediumship, because it's important. You know, you can't confine it to just one part. It has to be for everything. So it has to be both for divine and for a demonstration in my eyes. I know some won't agree with that, but I'm very much old-fashioned and medium. I'm very down to earth. The same as when anything happens around me, I look to this world before I look to the spirit world. Too many people seem to blame everything on the spirit world before looking to this, what's happening around here first. I mean, a prime example, when you go into church, you hear some people say, oh, have you heard that creak? Have you heard that groan? Have you heard that? It's spirit. When mainly it's just the building settling or the heating. So we have to be careful. But going back to the philosophy, that is important. And I think more people need to actually do philosophy. And I think really that should be the starting point for all mediumship as well, because it is needed, especially for trance. Yeah. Because that's what trance is a lot about. It's about the philosophy. And yeah, I do feel it's really, really important.
I agree. I really love the story. I think that, you know, when you were talking about it, I was getting goosebumps. I was like, oh my God. I mean, that would have affected me if someone had said that. Yeah. But I agree. So sometimes I will listen to, you know, spiritual teachings or read philosophy, and something that I've read or heard affected me. I mean, yes. It could just be one small piece, and I'm like having that aha moment. And so if there's anything I love the philosophy. I love reading about, listening to it, because it contains so much beautiful information. I mean, it's something to help you with your life, you know, what's going on. And I know, like, that day that you were doing that, I'm not sure if that was a demonstration, but and every person that was sitting there for you, whatever you said, Spirit knows everybody there, everybody's issues, everybody's problems, and whatever was spoken was something that they needed to hear. That grew. So I'm really glad that you are, you know, that we came on today, because, you know, I totally agree with you. I think that more of that should be done. And I should hope that it starts doing that, you know, where you're at. I know you're going to do it, so that's going to be beautiful. When we were talking about earlier, you know, getting that knowing of your direction, the change. We also talk about balance, you know, balancing your spiritual life, your everyday, your physical life, you know, everything that's going on around you. How important is that to find balance?
It's very important, because when I first started out, it was everything for the spirit world. Everything had to be done for the spirit world. Didn't care about my own physical life. Everything was done for the spirit world. Even up to the point I was doing up to 4 services a week. I had my own circle. I was doing reading and research. And I kept getting from spirit, you cannot keep doing this. You're going to actually burn yourself out. You're going to actually make yourself ill. And with having heart problems, that did happen. And I knew something was going on 2 years ago, because I started to feel uncomfortable every time I was going to do the rostrum work, which wasn't, I used to love rostrum work. I could never get enough of it. Then suddenly it was like a cloud had come, and it was like, this doesn't feel right. There's something I need to be doing. There's another direction I need to take. And I was given this in the home circle, and they were telling me that the trance now is coming on. which is something I never expected to do. I never even wanted to do trance. You know what I mean? It's something that was the back of my mind. And I followed this direction. And since I've actually now been taken on board what I should be doing, things have just snowballed. It's like things have just been thrown at me left, right, and centre in connection with a new pathway. And Spirit have said that now is the time to set up a second home circle. The time now is to actually do further reading and research. And I'm even being directed now to do two diplomas as well. A diploma in philosophy, and it's actually modern and ancient philosophy. And the other one is metaphysics. They want me to do a diploma. So it's the knowledge. That's why. It's that science, and it's also the philosophy. And the science and the philosophy goes together because you can use them together, because each affects your life in one way or another. So it's about linking them up, and then you can give the philosophy on both things. But philosophy to me, I can't get enough of it. It's like a drug to me. It really is. It becomes a drug. And the new direction, it's scary. It's frightening because you can't see what's ahead of you. It's scary as well because you're giving something up you got used to. But it's about, like Spirit said, about taking you out of your comfort zone. If you always work within your comfort zone, you never learn. You never expand that learning, and you'll only stay in one area. So it's about expanding that learning, taking you further, showing you more, getting to feel, understand what's going on around you, as well as what the spirit world is about as well. And I feel that with trance and with physical especially, you get that closer connection. You get that connection where you feel part of the spirit world in one sense. I mean, since I've drawn away and now doing more within the circle, I sit an hour every day as well. That blending is becoming a lot stronger. And I've realised running around, it's been not productive at all. It's been counterproductive. So now I've listened, the rewards are coming from the spirit world at long last. But yeah, it's scary. But what I would say to anyone, follow it. Follow that gut instinct. That gut instinct is your soul telling you. And the only way it can tell you, it can't tell you in words, it can only tell you in feelings. So go by them feelings. We're never wrong if we go by them feelings. It's when we do not listen to them feelings that things go pear-shaped around us. Oh, don't be scared of what the spirit world are trying to offer you, because they will never let us down. They never judge us. They never condemn us. They never pass judgment against us. They'll always support us, and they'll always love us, and they'll always be true friends. So with them ingredients, why would things go wrong? I can guarantee they won't. But please, for anyone who's listening, go by that direction they're trying to take you, and don't be scared of it. Because at the end of the day, what is fear? Fear is just an illusion. It doesn't actually exist. We create that fear ourselves because we don't understand something usually. And it's go for it. Grasp it by two hands. I'm not looking back now since I've done it. And I'm just hoping they don't change it again to something else.
The way you described stepping out of your comfort zone. I mean, everybody's going to, as you're talking, I can clearly picture times where I felt, I had that feeling. I knew I had to do something, but I didn't understand it. I just felt it, and it felt uncomfortable, but I knew I needed to. And that fear, you don't know what's ahead of you, but you have to step forward. So I know anybody that's watching this is looking and thinking, wow, I know exactly what he's talking about. And you described it beautifully. Like with these interviews that I do in the beginning, I was like, no, you guys, you do the interviews, the admins. I'm like, I'm not going to do them. You do it. And they're like, no, you do it. It was so uncomfortable for me. I mean, it still is. I get nervous still. But I just push myself. I don't know, I just want to do it, but I feel better now. Now I can't imagine, 3 months ago when I wasn't doing I was so fearful. I was just so afraid to do it. And now I just feel, okay, it's just a conversation. It's just a chat. And with you, it's easy because I've done it already. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And you just have to step forward. You just have to do it, you know, and you have to listen. That's the beautiful thing. Listen, you know.
As well as listen to the spirit world, listen to yourself.
Yes.
But you are connected to the spirit world. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to yourself, you're still listening to the spirit world in a sense. Mm-hmm. So just go by them feelings. Don't be scared of grasping something new, because by doing that, you will learn so much. By being taken out of your comfort zone, it soon becomes your comfort zone. So although you may think at first it's not your comfort zone, it soon becomes your comfort zone. The same with me with trance. I used to dread going to do trance at times, because at first I said to spirit, it's not being taken out of the own circle. Well, never argue with spirit, because you'll never win an argument for a start. I've learned that. And it's just about trying different stuff. Let the spirit world guide you, and if they're guiding you to somewhere different, to trying something different, go for it. We're all individuals, and with that individuality, we need to experience different things compared to what other people are actually experiencing. But again, it's about then coming together, everyone, and sharing those experiences, and that's not being done. And it's important to do that, because we can help each other so much, even within this movement. I'm still learning. I'm not developed. I won't be being developed until the day I go over to the spirit world. Mm-hmm. So it's about understanding that we are all students. We're students of spirit. Mm-hmm. And they will take us down areas that we feel uncomfortable in. They will take us to new beginnings, to new adventures. Go for it, because you may never get a chance again.
No, it's beautiful. I love how you said that. It is. You know, before I forget, I wanted to congratulate you. Well, you are actually now an admin in other group. We both are admins for Lillian Suarez's group, Trance Philosophy. So that was cool. That happened yesterday. So, and I also want to bring up, I can't remember if I did this already, but you have two groups. Did we talk about this already? I cannot remember.
I think we just mentioned it briefly, didn't we, last time?
Yes, okay. So you have two pages or groups. One is called Light to Unfoldment.
Yes.
And I believe you have a lot of information in there. You do the books, you do PDFs, so much stuff. Yeah.
That page is mainly aimed at books and other material that people can download free. Majority of the stuff is either out of print, so you won't be able to get hold of it in books, or they are very, very rare. The material dates back to the very early 1800s, up to usually up to the present day. But there's a lot of the old material on it. There's material by Estelle Roberts, about Manuel Swedenborg, Andrew Jackson Davis, Lillian Bailey. I could go on and on. There's
a lot.
There's a lot, and I've still got thousands to put on still as well. So
you are definitely busy, and I noticed you also just recently did uploaded a lot of the talks with Estelle Roberts and Maurice Barbanel from Roy Allen's page.
Yes, so, I have.
Yeah, and I'll read stuff in there, and I'll be like, wow, you know, everything I read is, and you have such a large collection of information there, so that is like amazing. So I definitely want to mention that group, and then you have the Journey of the Soul, right? I believe Journey of the Soul.
Yeah, that covers different aspects of mediumship. There's videos on there. There's pictures people can look and even download. The same with the videos. There's information about certain aspects of development, covering all forms of mediumship, be it psychic art, be it spirit art, be it trance, physical, automatic writing. It covers a vast range, and it gives people some knowledge base so they can actually even download videos if they want. I have many of the trance and physical mediums on there, videos as well. Scott Milligan, I have a lot of the others on it. So they're all worth having a look at because it can help people. And it's all there. I'm a big believer we all should be mentors for each other. And that was what I'm hoping to do by having these two other groups. saves me keeping them all on my main page because I was getting so mixed up.
I mean, even in that second page, the journey of the soul, if you scroll through it, there is so much information that you have posted on developing trance. The physical, so much. I mean, you guys got to go look at it. I mean, you're going to be there for days, okay? Because there's lots of information. Go through it because there's lots of gold in that page. I mean, both pages. So.
Well, I think on the Light of Unfoldment, I think there's something nearly 1,000 members on there or something the last time I looked. So it just seems to have snowballed and snowballed. So at least if I only help one person out of all that.
Oh,
again,
well, you helped me for sure. And I know a lot of other people. I know we share your groups in the pages as well, or the different groups as well. So a lot of people are asking me questions. They want to know more about the cabinet. How important is it important to have a cabinet?
For physical mediumship, yes.
For physical mediumship.
It's not needed for trance.
Okay. So.
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting really excited.
So like for physical mediumship, they would need a cabinet.
Yeah, you'll need the cabinet. But a cabinet doesn't have to be a built cabinet. If you look at Minnie Harrison, she used to put a curtain pole in the corner of the living room, put the curtain up on it, and she used to sit in the corner.
Wow.
So it can be basic. It doesn't need to be something. The one I've got, 10 years ago, Spirit said to me, right, we're going to build a cabinet. Now, I wasn't into all this, and I thought, well, I can't even put a bookshelf up. So I said to Spirit, I can't decorate, I can't do woodwork, I've got no chance of doing any of it, so how do you want me to do this? And they helped me to build it. I was getting all this information coming through how to do it, and it turned out fantastic. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe what I'd done. But it's interesting because at one point in the room, I had it against the flat part of the room. And about 1.5 years ago, Spirit said, we want it moving. And they wanted it moving into the corner of the room. And when they asked Spirit the reason behind this, they said because it allowed to filter the energy into the corner, into the cabinet, because it's going to create a filter effect, just like a funnel. When you think of a funnel and you're pouring the water in, it goes down one tube and it all filters closely together. Well, the same way, the energy, it's being filtered into the corner of the room, which means more energy is getting into the cabinet itself. And there has been proof since we've been sitting doing it this way, the energies are a lot stronger. But a cabinet is so easy. Anyone can do it. You could go and get one of these, have you seen the curtain rails which come from the ceiling, they're round?
Yes.
One of them. Put it up, put the curtains around, put black curtains at the back, or have dark walls. You've got a cabinet next to no time. It doesn't have to be anything or elaborate. You know, there's places on the internet you can spend £200 for a cabinet, and all it is pieces of wood knocked together. Why spend money like that? They're easy to do, but they are important. The cabinet for physical is important because it's with the cabinet that the energies build up, but also, especially if you're going to start using for ectoplasm and stuff like that, or photoplasm, especially ectoplasm more than photoplasm, it is needed because quite often also the front of the curtain can be dropped down. Some of the mediums will actually sit in the cabinet completely enclosed, and sometimes you'll see the ectoplasm coming from under the curtain or from the sides of the curtain. Some of the mediums use it with it open at the front. It depends because we're all different. We work differently within physical mediumship as well to a certain extent as well. But the cabinet, dead easy to build. It is better if you can make it out of wood in one sense because it's better than having too much metal around. But it's not that important when it comes to the shower, if you want to use one of them. But and now I've actually improved on the cabinet because Spirit have actually helped me to build a wooden one near enough in the corner of the room. So I said, thank you. I only wish they could help me to do the decorating, maybe.
Well, your cabinet is actually your whole setup, your room, because you actually posted it in both of the groups. So if you guys want, we can always add it to the interview when I post it. But his setup is beautiful. It's amazing. But I do know other people that just use pop-up tents, you know, little porta
Yeah,
potty pop-up ones.
yeah,
But I do like, you know, I've seen pictures where they do the curtain in the corner of the room,
yeah.
shower curtain thing. So yeah, it was very important. A lot of people were asking me, do you need it? Do you not need it? You also posted just recently, well, actually in both groups you do it. I'm just going to say both groups because you post in both groups anyway. Your transfiguration photos. Oh my God, they're beautiful. And people are asking about the colors because, you know, you have blue photos, you have
Yeah.
different colored photos. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, what we do, we use two different cameras. We use the normal new digital camera, what you get today as well, but we also use the old 35mm film camera. They tend to be better in one sense because they pick up proper spiritual activity. And the problem with digital cameras, they are so made now that they can pick up the slightest thing. So you've got to be careful because you could get dust and they may look like orbs. You can get water droplets and they look like orbs. So you've got to be careful where the 35mm camera doesn't pick up things like that, but it will pick up proper spirit orbs. I also use colour filters on the flash. So it deadens a flash, but it also just gives that colour instead of the white. Because if you use the white, it would destroy the energies within the room. So they're the two cameras we use. The lighting is actually, we use three different types of lighting. We use the red, we use blue, and we use green. So we always ask the spirit world, which one do they want us to use that night? Wow. You get different effects from the different types of colours depending on what they're going to do that night and which of the spirit team members are working with me. But yeah, filters. Try not to use the flash, a normal flash in the room, because it will be counterproductive. Plus, you won't pick as much up as well because it'll light the room up far too much. So try and use colour filters on the flash itself, which deadens the flash. But yeah, different colour lighting. Always be careful if you try to do experimentation. Ask the spirit world for permission first, because too many of these physical groups tend to think they can just start doing all these type of experiments within the room. That can't be done. It has to be done on the advice of the spirit team, because you might be bringing all these new things in and it's not what the spirit will want to do for a starter. So you're doing something counterproductive to what the spirit will want to do. So always ask their advice. But the lighting, try different colour lighting. Red, blue, like I said, the green, they're the main basic colours to use. And you will get different effects, especially when transfiguration is happening as well, depending on the level and how deep that transfiguration is. Certain lighting will pick up more than what others do. So yes, try different coloured lighting.
Different colored lighting, wow. Yeah, so you guys got to check out the pictures that he has posted. I mean, I think there might be like 8, maybe. I'm thinking maybe 8, 9. Beautiful photos. So definitely check them out after you watch the interview. Look for them because you'll completely understand what the colors that he's talking about. Do you record your circles?
Yeah, we've got 10 years over of recordings. I've got stuff there of recordings. And it's interesting because every so often it's nice to listen to them, but it also shows you the progression of the trance itself. But it also, some of the information there, what I'm trying to do now is to do transcript some of it into thingy, because it's important to also keep the logs of what's happening, to look back and read something, but also some of the philosophy what's given in it is it's amazing. And it's lovely to use when you're going to do some other type of service or something, or you're doing some teaching, to use this philosophy, because it's come direct from the spirit world. You can't ask for anything better than that at all.
Oh my, and that's what I was going to ask you, because I know when you do your demonstrations or you're out there and you're speaking philosophy, is that recorded? Can we go somewhere to listen to all this beautiful information that you're bringing forward? So I'm hoping that you're either going to write a book and have all this information put in it, or have a whole different group and post everything so we can listen and hear this, the teachings and the truths that come through. you know?
I am looking at, funny, it's all right, sorry about this, but it's Spirit, my ear, they're mucking around with me ear. It's one of my guys, one of my little guys.
Oh.
He works upstairs with us. He's always down here a lot of the time.
Oh my goodness.
He's interesting.
I mean, I love that stuff, Aiden. I mean, if anybody asks me, they're going to say, what is your most favorite thing? The philosophy, because the most beautiful things that come through can help and heal people. I mean, I just got the goosebumps again. And it's like, and whatever somebody's going through, you read something and you're like, oh my God, you know, I feel so much better. And here you go. I know you're doing this and everything, but
he's irritating me. Yeah, sorry about that.
Absolutely true, you know.
He's fascinated with the screen because he's never seen TV, so he's looking at the screen.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're absolutely fine. I just think that I look forward to when you start putting all this information out, because I'll be reading it up. I mean, that's what I do anyway. So
I had a medium come up to me about 6 years ago, an old pioneer type medium. She was 90 odd. She was sat at the back of the church. She never speaks to many people. She doesn't make any comments to mediums or anything, but she came up to the end to me and said, can I have a word with you, young man? I thought I'd done something wrong. I thought, oh, here we go, I've done something wrong now. And she said, I've just got to say one thing. Please take this piece of paper. It's come from the spirit world. They want me to ask you to write a book.
Oh my goodness, that's a goosebumps.
And I thought, well, because I'm dyslexic for a starter, so it's not easy. And I'll actually put it on the web, on the page next time. I'll find the piece of paper. And it's something like mediumship as it should be, or something. I can't remember how as it was. But the book is not about me. The book is about the spirit world. It's about teaching. It's about development. It's about unfoldment. And it's about bringing in a lot of the old teachings back in. And they want me to actually put all this together, and some of the works that they've done through the automatic writing that they've done with me, and they want me to put it into a book. And what was interesting, I was told by this medium as well, it's not about making money. In fact, you will not be known with this book until after you've passed. Wow. Now, as long as that could help others, I don't mind about that. Because I think the majority of books that you buy today, it's more autobiographies or biographies. It's not about mediumship itself, and it's usually about the medium's journey and about what they've gone through. And I think there's also another aspect. We need to look at the teaching. We need to look at the spirit world. We need to put all these explanations into some form of book or something that others can read, that may give guidance, may give help about their own self-development and different methods of development and what they should be doing or what they could try or something. Because there are many tools and they're not actually being given or explained to people. And I do feel that when stuff is being given, a spirit have said to me, the coin of spirit has been replaced by the coin of man. And it's true. You know, the coin of spirit is that spiritual aspect, the spiritual rewards, where with us now, the coin of man is the material aspect of it. And it's a shame, because what spirit wants is to bring that spiritual aspect within a book and also with the teachings and that. So another thing they want me to do, but I've got a list here from the spirit world. That's for an extension of my life.
Listen, I think you really need to do it. I have been connecting with so many different people, and eventually they start saying, yes, well, I think I'm supposed to write a book. I really think you should, because you have so much information, so much knowledge, so much wisdom, and the direction that you're going to do it. I mean, your posts that you post, you're so passionate about the development, the proper development, you know. And when I read your posts, I'm like, yep, I always hit love. I always hit love on your posts. But you need to do this. There's a reason why that woman gave you that. And I hope, I mean, I'll definitely buy the book, okay? I definitely will, because I know anything that you share is just filled with great information.
Yeah.
And you're right about the books. You know, yes, there's a lot with the biographies, but to have the type of book you're talking about, it would be very important to have. So I hope that you do it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then when you do it, then we'll share it all within the groups too. So that would be fantastic.
It's the second thing they've asked me to do. The other thing they want me to do, and they asked this about 7 years ago, and that is in connection with the Bible. They've asked me to actually read, not the King James's Bible, but the original thingy of the Bible. And they want me to actually split it up into 3 categories. And the 3 categories with each section of the Bible is man-made, science, or spirit. Because there are certain aspects within the Bible which are spirit. There are certain aspects in the Bible which can be connected with science, with nature. So things that have happened is not God or spirit or anything. It's just a natural occurrence through the sciences and through nature itself. And the other section is man-made, what man's imagination has put into it. But the problem with that is finding the time, because the Bible is not the easiest thing to read. So.
Yeah. That one would be hard, but yeah, that would be cool if you could do that as well. Yeah, oh my God, I love talking with you. I know that you have another interview lined up with Lillian, and now we're both in admin, so I don't want to take too much from you, because I know she wants to have her interview with you as well. But I wanted to ask you one thing. In our first interview, you talked about a plaque that you bought for above your door.
Yes.
What were the words listed that you had put on the plaque? That you got this from Spirit, I believe.
Yeah, they gave me 4 words. And the 4 words when I first started, and they said, these are the words we want you to work with. And that was dedication, commitment, perseverance, and discipline.
Wow.
And the hardest one out of that is the discipline. Because
yes.
the discipline, again, is about your spirit life and your physical life. So it's about bringing that discipline into both of them and bringing them both together. That is the one I struggle with more than anything. That is the one I do struggle with.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people struggle with the discipline, but I definitely do believe that. So one of the things that I thought was very important, because I know we touched about this, we talked about your direction, where you're being guided to. I love it because you're listening. I love that. People, listen to your heart. Listen to what you're feeling inside and do it. Step forward. Don't be afraid. I love how you put that. Just step forward. Don't be afraid. You don't know what's happening. You're still scared, but it's you can't imagine. Look at you now, and looking backwards, you're in a beautiful place now. Honoring yourself, honoring all areas, balancing your life, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, everything that's going on around you. If you're giving too much to spirit and you're neglecting everything else, go back, balance everything, I love
all then what you just mentioned, the spiritual, the emotional, everything has to be in balance. They have to be equal. And if one is out of balance, it will affect the others within your life, both spiritual and your physical. The same as, if you're going to sit for the power, if you feel that you feel uncomfortable that night, you don't feel that you want to sit, don't sit. Don't force yourself. It has to be done freely and with love and with the fact that you see what you want to do. I have times when I go to sit upstairs, I don't feel comfortable. I know spirit, don't mind me then not sitting, because sometimes it's them saying, don't sit tonight for various reasons, or it may be because I've got things going on in my life and my mind is too much for them. So listen to your feelings. Don't ignore them, because they will give you the guidance that you need. They will give you that pathway that you need to follow. And unfortunately, if you don't listen to them, instead of the pathway being straight, you're going to find the pathway is rough, it's just not even, and it will throw you completely. So don't do something you don't feel right in doing, because again, it's your feelings. Simple as that.
No, and absolutely agree. I think one time, I think not too long ago, I was adminning in all these different groups, and my energy was all over the place, and I knew it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let go of a couple groups. Next week I'll do it, and I didn't do it, and then I just got more overwhelmed, and it became
Yes.
more of a chore to do all these different groups. And then finally, I just said, no, I gotta listen. I gotta listen, and I did. And then now I'm like, it's just wonderful now because now I have more time to do what I really want to do. And it's like the path, you're right, it's more straight and versus like this, you know? But I like how this is what we were talking about. We're talking about balance. We're talking about listening to your inner guidance, your spirit guidance, guidance from spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we wanted to do a little bit different because your direction, that's why I wanted you on here because of everything that you're posting, everything that was shaking up in your world, knowing that you had to go a certain way and you fought it. You fought it tooth and nail and finally you're doing it and it's beautiful. And
Yes.
everything's balancing out for you. And so I thought it was so important to have this type of talk because a lot of people are still all over the place and trying to do 20 million things instead of focusing on the area that they're supposed to or the thing that they're supposed to let go of things, not be so crazy or hurried in their life, you know?
Yes.
And then the Roy Allen thing. I loved how, I had to bring up Roy because I absolutely love Roy. So, and you, like I said, you share. He is so beautiful. And how long have you been doing this, Aiden?
I've been a medium now for 12 years. We've had the Home Circle for nearly 11 years.
Wow.
So I started it literally straight away. It's progressed from that, like I said. Now we're having a second Home Circle because, like Estelle Roberts said, the Home Circle is the backbone of the movement. And most of the good teachings that there used to be done in the home circles because it was done via spirit with the medium and it was first class, first hand development that's coming from the spirit world. So yeah, it is important, very important, but listen. We don't listen.
No.
We don't open the lug holes and listen.
Mm-hmm.
As my mum used to say to me, open your lug holes and listen.
Oh my goodness. Well, I definitely am so grateful to have you on a second time. So again, you guys, check out Aiden's website, Light to Unfoldment, The Journey of the Soul. Just, you'll get lost in there. There's so much beautiful information that he shares. And check out the first interview because that's where we really talk a lot about his development and so much advice that he gave for developing in all areas. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen that one already. But look forward because Aiden is now an admin. So he will be sharing all kinds of bits and pieces here and there. And if you have questions, post there because, I mean, Aiden, like I said, has always been somebody that you'll see come in and comment if somebody has a question, nobody's answering and he's right there. So if you have questions, definitely post in the groups and Aiden will be there to help out,
If anyone has got anything you want help with, don't hesitate, contact me. Like I said, we should be here to help each other and we're all joined together. We all come from the same source. We're all, in a sense, brothers and sisters. We're a family. And if we can't help each other, then what hope is there in this world? So it is important. So if anyone's got anything they need help with their spiritual journey, with their development, whatever it is, if I can help between me and the spirit team, we will be more than willing to help.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Aiden. Thank you so very much. So I don't want to ask too many questions because, like I said, I know Lillian's going to interview you, so I don't want to take up too much of the information here. But I am so grateful again to have you on a second time, and just thank you for sharing your light with us because it's beautiful, very beautiful.
I'd just like to say thank you for the invite, and yes, I'm there for everyone. If anyone needs anything.
Okay.
Don't hesitate.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Aiden. And you have a fabulous rest of your evening.
I'm going to have my gin and tonic now.
Perfect. Oh my God, perfect. Okay. All right, Aiden, we will talk to you later. Thank you again.
Bless you. Take care.
You
Have a
too.
good night.
You too.